We've been discussing about the nature of the mind and how to be mindful of the mind during these past few days, both from the theoretical and practical aspects. And so whatever mind arises, whatever mentality arises, whether it may be pure or impure, whether bad or good, good or bad, whatever arises obviously will be noted as such with the precision, energetically, using the driving force. Thus activate your mindfulness. If you are not mindful, you will be ignorant. You will not know the true nature. Now you are mindful, you see the true nature of these objects noted. So, noting what is obvious in the mind is Chaitanupasana Satipatthana, mindfulness of the mind, or Chitta Nupasi Viharati. One dwells being mindful of the mind as such, as the mind as mind. Contemplating means repeatedly developing, practicing, and it has these essential qualities, namely Adapi, Samajano, Satima. Adapi, arduousness. Being arduous, you are mindful and fully aware. Being activating energy with the application of energy, Adapi, Adapa, ardent energy, you activate mindfulness so that you come into possession of the deep mindfulness. Thus, the mindfulness will be sustained steadfastly. And then we'll know the nature of the mind noted. As much as you activate mindfulness, you fall calm and collected on object of attention, thus bringing about samatha, tranquility, or serenity, or samadhi, concentration. So whether it is a wholesome mind or unwholesome mind, good mind, bad mind, pure or impure, just try to activate mindfulness as an object arises in the mind, or a mind object arises, so that one will be free from raga and dosa. There will be no affliction, you will not be afflicted with craving, raga, neither will you be afflicted with dosa, anger or ill will, or other defilements, because you have tranquilized your mind, samatha. You are not agitated with raga, dosa, therefore your mind falls calm and collected, deepening your concentration, samatha or samadhi. Then you'll be aware of true nature of objects. That is samajanya, given by the expression samajanya, fully aware or completely aware. Such as Chaitanupasana, such is the essence and quality of Chaitanupasana, the practice of the contemplation of the mind, noting the obvious object, applying energy, thus sustaining your mindfulness. Then you know truly, correctly, that is your immediate benefit. And then you will be free of the abhijja domanassa. That means covetousness and mental distress, or lobha dosa in essence, as regards the object noted. If you are not mindful, covetousness and lobha dosa, covetousness and mental distress are bound to arise in the stream of consciousness. Now, being mindful, these things will not arise, because these abhijja domanassa, covetousness and mental distress are bound to arise whenever you are not mindful in this world. They come and go. So this is the immediate benefit of the practice. If you are by being mindful, you are free from kilesas temporarily, momentarily, and you can by distancing, keeping your defilements farther away from you, keeping at a distance, such as tadenga and vekamana. So this is the immediate benefit, and you are practicing mindfulness in order to realize this benefit. Hence, this is the essence of the practice of the contemplation of the mind, Cedanupassana, Satipatthana. If you are not mindful of every arising in the body, the contemplation of the body as body, and the contemplation of feelings as feeling, and the mind objects as mind objects, then you will not become aware of the true nature of things. Then you will be liking or disliking, wanting or not wanting, elation or dejection. All these things all these kilesas will arise. As much as you do that, so too, when you are not being mindful of general objects or Dhamma objects, you will not know the truth or true nature of the objects, then you will be overcome or invaded by these kilesas such as raga, dosa, moha, and so on. So, as much as these kilesas arise, kilesas will not arise if you are mindful of these objects, kaya, vedana, citta. That means the bodily object, feelings, and mind objects. With the practice of Satipatthana, then you will be free of kilesas if you are mindful. So too, if you are mindful of the general objects like Dhamma objects, then you will be free of kilesas. And this we shall discuss today. This is all the Buddha has said regarding the mindfulness of the Dhamma or general objects. Dhammesu Dhammanupasi Viharati. This is the expression as given by the Buddha, and this is how the description is given as regards this Dhammesu, objects of attention, Dhamma objects. It also comprises these past aggregates or past objects, bodily objects, objects of the body, feeling, perception, and consciousness. All these aggregates are also involved. The five aggregates are involved. They are treated as Dhamma objects. And also these nivaranas, hindrances to progress, specifically, beginning with this kamicchanda, nivarana, the hindrance of sense desire, wishing to see agreeable, wishing to enjoy agreeable visible objects, agreeable sound, and so on. Such are the Dhamma, such are treated as Dhamma, and they are the objects of attention. Then also this another hindrance, namely hindrance of ill will, vyavada, nivarana, dissatisfaction and disappointment as regards objects seen, heard, and so on. And these are also objects of attention, and they are treated as Dhamma objects. And then comes the lack of energy, slackness, laxity, not wishing to exert energy, but even if you exert energy, you soon get exhausted. Feeling sloth and torpor, and empathy also is involved, not wishing to do anything, just fed up of doing anything. That also, and also giving up as regards the practice when one faces difficult situations, and such is tina medita nivarana, hindrance of sloth and torpor. They are also objects to be noted as Dhamma objects. Then comes restlessness and worry. That is, when you are noting, you are not, in terms of practice, your noting mind is not coherent with the object to be noted. It is, in a way, it is removed or separated, become restless, distracted, and agitated. And such restlessness and worry, this uddhacca, kokocha, in Pali, skeptical doubt, and restlessness are treated as Dhamma objects. skeptical doubt about the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and one's existence and so on. As for the practicing yogis, doubt about one's practice, whether by noting rising and falling as main object and every other object which arises in the body, and can it cause concentration of the mind, or can it lead to the realization of the knowledge, such as the knowledge of the mind and body, and so on, progressing along a path. Are these correct or not? Is it correct or not? Can we cultivate insight knowledge and realize the real ultimate peace and happiness with the practice? Are we doing the right thing or not? Such are the skeptical doubts which can arise, known as Vicikecha Nivaranas. They are also objects to be noted, and they are treated as Dhamma object, general object. And then these base elements comprising eye, ear, nose and all that sort of thing, they are the basis. And then the striker element, the objects, the external bases which strike the internal base, giving rise to ignition element, consciousness, and so on. All these elements are also treated as Dhamma objects to be noted, and they are considered as Dhamma. Then we have this, among these Four Noble Truths, so we have this, the truth of suffering, dukkha satya, which comprises everything actually. The whole body is truth of suffering. And then what is the origin? The origin of suffering, a craving, treated as the samudaya satya, the truth of the origin. And these are also treated, given as Dhamma objects to be noted. And if you're not able to activate mindfulness as regards these objects as they arise at the moment of arising, then you will not be aware of the true nature of these objects noted. So these dukkha satya, samudaya satya, truth of suffering and the truth of the origin, are the objects to be noted, and they are treated as Dhamma objects. And the third and the fourth truths, such as namely Nibbana and Megha, the path, the extinction and the way to extinction are not treated, not shown as objects to be noted, because they have not yet arisen in the yogis. Such things as Megha, Phala, path and fruition are not treated as sankhara, objects, conditioned phenomena, and they are not to be noted. Only you are concerned with the worldly, mundane, lokiya, dhammas, objects, such as the dukkha satya, samudaya satya, as Dhamma. And the local use we call this is natural man and natural activities, original or natural activities. And then there are also other things, they are mixed with other things. So when we come to define these Dhamma objects from this Dhammesu, Dhammasi Vibhasati, this can you can safely say they are the general objects besides the three kinds of objects we have already discussed, namely Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, that is bodily object, feeling and mind or mind object. Besides these objects, all objects besides these, except these three, are treated as general objects or Dhamma objects to be noted as given in the Dhammesu, Dhammasi Viharati. So Dhammesu, all comes under Dhammesu, general objects to be noted, as they arise obviously, and they are to be noted. Such is the description. And the essential requirement is this, again this expression, Adapi Sambhajano, Satima. Note arduously, activate mindfulness to become aware of the true nature of the objects. Whatever arises, you note with precision, applying this ardent energy, which is given by Adapi, in order to activate mindfulness sati, and as mindfulness sustains, then you are bound to deepen your concentration. Samatha, serenity or tranquility, or samadhi, they are synonymous. And with samadhi, there will be samajanya, awareness, full awareness or full understanding. And such is the description. Then every time you are noting and knowing, you are bound to overcome these kilesas which can arise if you are not noting and knowing. So all these general objects are to be noted as they arise in order to overcome kilesas, such as the practice of Dhamma Nupassana, Satipatthana. So every time one activates mindfulness, there must be energy involved, ardent energy, and not be arduous in the practice, and so as to cultivate mindfulness to know the truth. And if you know the truth, as much as you know the truth, you will be free of kilesas. Where does it begin? All in all, the objects of attention, to summarize, are four, namely kaya, objects arising in the body, and then feeling or sensations, good, bad or neutral, and then whatever arises in your mind, objects, citta. Then we have this Dhamma, the general objects we just discussed. These are the four objects of attention, noting as they arise obviously. If you are not mindful of its arising with the method of Satipatthana, then you will not be aware of the truth. But just if you are not noting, paying attention to the truth of suffering as the truth of suffering, then you will not know the truth of suffering as the truth of suffering. You will not know its nature. Hence, dukkha ajnana, that is not knowing, being ignorant of the suffering. Now, because you are not mindful of these objects, Dhamma objects, as they arise, of the dukkha sajja as it arises. Now this expression ajnana, you are not knowing the truth. The opposite of knowing or knowledge is unknowing or ignorance. And there are two kinds of ignorance: not knowing the truth as such, simple unknowing, and knowing, not only not knowing the truth, but knowing in a wrong way, misperception or misconception. So, just like you suffer from cataract, if you have cataract, then either you will not see things at all, as your cataract has matured and in a serious condition. Either you will not see at all, or even if you see, you will be seeing wrongly, not the truth. Now, not being noting and fully aware of the truth, and with the practice of Satipatthana as regards every arising object, you become ignorant. That means you are not aware of the truth as ajnana. Not only not knowing the truth, but knowing in the wrong way. So that is because you are not noting energetically and precisely, taking an aim at the object with a driving force. When you apply ardent energy and taking an aim precisely, you are bound to be able to activate mindfulness, noting the object. Sati will arise. Such is noble practice. And to do that, to realize that stage, or to do that, we need the prerequisites the mental powers to reach that stage. First of all, prior to the practice, you come to understand by learning or studying or from hearsay or from Dhamma talks the 7 benefits of Satipatthana, beginning with the purification of the mind. Then you're convinced of that, or you come to understand theoretically, and you accept that. That means you believe it. That is saddha, having faith and confidence, which will lead to the zeal to undertake the practice, chanda, desire, strong desire to undertake the practice. That will bring you to the retreat, to the center. Then, after you come to the center, you start noting, because you're given the instructions how to note, and you start applying this initial energy. You note the main objects and other objects as they arise. Initial. Then, with the application of energy, there will be this sati, the power of sati will arise. If you apply energy, driving force, to drive your noting mind to the object, then with the proper aiming, your mind is bound to be anchored on the object. So there will be first sati, and as much as you activate mindfulness, you will not be agitated or afflicted or excited by these craving, raga, attachment, or dissatisfaction, disappointment, dosa. You will not be excited, you will not be agitated, you will not be moved, not afflicted. Instead, you feel calm and serene. Such is serenity, samatha, or is synonymous with samadhi, concentration. At that time, the mind which was initially weak will strengthen, will become powerful, become energized, so that you'll be able to overcome these hindrances to your progress, beginning with the kamicchanda nivarana, hindrance of sense desire. Previously, you're always the loser, because you allow your emotions to run you, so that you will always be the loser. Now you are the victor. You win. You are the winner, because you have energized your mind. You have samatha, concentration, calm and collected, serene. So you have this kind of peace and happiness, delight. That is samatha sukha, happiness of tranquility or serenity, which excels manifold this agitated mind, the mind which you are used to in your worldly matters, social matters, being agitated, excited, overwhelmed by emotions, emotional, with passions and all that. And this samatha sukha, the pleasure, the happiness of samatha, or tranquility or serenity, excels much better. This, the worldly pleasures that you think is the best. You'll be free from, at that time, you'll be free from vuttu kama, kilesa kama, the 2 kinds of karma. Vuttu kama, objective sensuality, and free from this subjective sensuality, subjective defilement. So, you'll be foregoing, you'll be letting go these sukhas, worldly pleasures of subjective defilement, objective defilement. Because you have the objects to cause defilement, vuttu kama, and because you have the latent tendency of desires, then you go on wanting and wanting, which cause suffering. Now you let them go, and by letting them go, you are tranquilize, become serene. That is the happiness. Raga, dosa. All these things are sensuous things, worldly things, and this kind of happiness that we have just discussed, samatha sukha, excels manifold this sensual happiness, worldly pleasures. So, such is samatha sukha. You are not agitated. So far you have been thinking that the worldly pleasures with excitement, seeing ever new things, are real pleasures, but they are deadly, they are fatal pleasures. Now you know, you come to experience this kind of pleasure, samatha sukha. This kind of sukha is happiness with purity, pure mind, without any excitement, without any defilement. This is also known as nekkhamma sukha, happiness of renunciation, or emancipation, or liberation. Continuing the practice, progressing along the path, knowing, understanding the conditionality of these mind-body objects and their universal marks of existence, and especially when you come to the fleeting, momentary nature of experience, that is, seeing the fleeting way of objects noted, then you are bound to attain the real happiness, happiness over happiness. Such is vipassana sukha, the happiness of insight, cultivating mind and insight, which brings about the Dhamma, which cultivates mind and insight, will bring about this unforeseeable, inseparable kind of happiness, which is good in itself, in its pure state, not in the mixed state. Because in the worldly affairs, worldly pleasures, they always come in mixtures, not in the pure state. Here, this vipassana sukha, insight, happiness of insight, comes in its pure state, not mixed with anything else. So, all in all, we can say that both samatha sukha and vipassana sukha, happiness of serenity and insight, can be said as nekkhamma sukha, happiness of renunciation. So this nekkhamma sukha excels manifold this sensual happiness or worldly happiness. Once you come to this stage, you will not shrink back or withdraw or run away from the retreat because you cannot continue and things like that. There is no such thing. You will not run away. Instead, you will only advance. Possession of this happiness of renunciation, because you have renounced this sense of pleasures, you have renounced the worldly pleasures, kama sukha, parisaga. You have renounced them, you have let go these worldly pleasures. That means worldly pleasures, which is made up of these 5 causes of sense of pleasures, such as agreeable visible object, agreeable sound, and so on. And you let go these things, let them go, then come to possess this happiness of renunciation, nekkhamma sukha. So, with the practice, you come to possess this nekkhamma sukha, achanta santi, which is the ultimate happiness, by foregoing the worldly pleasures, kama sukha, parisaga. The result, the benefit, the reward is coming into possession of the happiness of renunciation, nekkhamma sukha, parigraha. As for the majority of people, when they being used to these worldly pleasures, only when they will go after agreeable objects, desirable objects, pleasurable objects, such as visible objects, form, sound, and so on, seeing them, enjoying them, hearing, tasting, touching, and they think that these are the real pleasures, and day in and day out they enjoy such pleasures. They feel very good, and they think it is life. Such is life. Such is the world. That's why we are living. We are living to enjoy life. That's how they understand. They understand so much. And such is the kind of happiness which is concerned with sensuousness. Is experiencing, but experiencing the senses. Sense pleasure, sense experience. Seeing good things, hearing good sound and things like that. All these sensual pleasures, 5 causes of sensual pleasures. And these are sensuous experiences. Sometimes you enjoy them in a normal way, sometimes more than a normal way, in an extraordinary way. Over-enjoy, have a lot of fun, as is given in this chain of dependent origination, phassa, paccaya, vedana. With contact as condition, there arises this feeling. And only when you come into contact with the object, there will be this feeling, in this case feeling of good feeling, well-being. Otherwise not. If you come in contact with bad objects, then there won't be any good feeling, there will be only bad feeling. You feel very bad, unpleasant. In this way, these objects that you confront, that you face or enjoy in everyday life is always mixed. They will never come in this pure state. Even if they come pure, they are always mixed with raga. You are agitated with lust or craving or attachment, excited with it, such emotions. At times there will be this negative emotions, dissatisfaction, and being upset, and disappointment, and being rise. So all this, the kind of happiness, pleasures that you are getting is not much, but the suffering that you have to invest is much more, although you may not realize it. In order to enjoy something, you got to work a lot, work your way towards that pleasure. There's much suffering, much pain, and little pleasure. But the majority of the people think that they are the real pleasures of life. But they are pleasures, no doubt, in a way. But they are deadly pleasures. They are harmful pleasures. The fatal pleasures. And in this way, one ends one's life. And such pleasures are known as Vedayita Sukha, sensuous pleasures. That is, when you experience these by way of senses, as a sense of seeing, sense of sight, sense of hearing, and so forth, as you agreeable objects, or you sometimes call them 5 causes of sensual pleasures, kama gunas, and in this way you think that they are the real pleasures, that is known as Vedayita Sukha in Pali, sensuous pleasures. That's how I translate. And then how about no senses, no sensuous pleasures? If you don't see happiness that you can, you think if you don't see anything, if you don't hear anything, or taste or touch anything, then you are losing happiness. You think you are losing happiness. Actually, that kind of happiness is agitated, excitement, emotional happiness. That's very tiring, very exhausting. When there is there is a kind of happiness without sense, without sensuousness, non-sensuous pleasure, as I translate it as such. Calm pleasure, tranquil pleasure, which excels your excitement, happiness with excitement. This is the real happiness, known as Avedita Sukha, the opposite of the Vedita Sukha. Without coming into contact with any sense objects, but you are gaining pleasures. You are happy, you are experiencing pleasure, but not actually experiencing like you experience the senses, but you are having pleasure without any contact with senses, free of raga, dosa, craving and aversion. Pleasures with the extinction of the rising and passing away of psychophysical phenomena, mind, body. In other words, it is known as synonymous with Santi, Sukha. Pleasures of the ultimate peace, which is the real peace. And not thinking that such pleasures are pleasures, or one spends time, all the time, with pleasures of the senses, kama guna, sense of pleasures. And then, if you think that these are the real pleasures, worldly pleasures are the real ones, and if you come, although you leave the social world because other people are going, meditation becomes a fashion, people go to the retreat to calm their mind. Why not me? Why not I go? Because my neighbor is going, let me go. That sort of thing. Meditation becomes a fashion in the West and the world, not in the West, only not in the West, but all over the world. So that I must meditate, otherwise I'm not, I'm not keeping up with the times. I'm not a modern person. I must meditate, at least sit. So if you do that, just with that concept, leaving the social world, coming to the retreat, you will not gain anything. Only thing you have left the world, social world. You will not get this jhanic pleasure, the pleasure of absorption, jhana. You will not gain these pleasures of insight, vipassana, and pleasures, vipassana, insight pleasure, pleasures of vipassana. And you will not be able to enjoy these pleasures of insight, knowledge. Only when you have this concept that you're pursuing the real happiness, if you come with that concept, then only when you can practice insight, really you will get the nibbanic happiness of santi, sukha, the happiness of peace. Otherwise you will be you will drown, or you will be sunk, you will be mired in the mud of these five causes of sensual pleasures. And what will you get? You will get sensual happiness, happiness of the senses. You will not get this happiness of peace, santi sukha, or happiness of non-sensuousness. And you will not advance. You will not you will not go any step better, higher than this excited emotional happiness. Allowing your emotions to run you, giving way to greed, hatred, lobha, dosa, not controlling your mind, not practicing restraint of your faculties, even holding wrong views sometimes, and becoming deluded, stupid, not being able, if you're not able to control your mind, then how can you control your physical and verbal behaviors? Thus you'll be led to transgressive, obsessive defilements. As Putthajanas, ordinary worldlings, ordinary beings, we say that ordinary beings, Putthajanas, are thick with kilesas, without being able to control it. That is given in the text. Satipatthana practice, the Satipatthana Bhavana practice, is aiming at, as we have discussed yesterday, the attainment of the real pleasure. And to do that, one has to enhance one's mental powers, beginning with the faith and confidence, saddha. Then the application of energy, to note the objects, not to miss them. When you have there's an initial application of energy, then when you face difficult situations or pain, then you step up that energy. Then later the final energy to reach the target. Such is the possession or cultivation of virya bala, the power of virya or power of energy. Then there will be this sati bala, the power of mindfulness. With the application of energy, you will come to possess this sati bala, sati power, which then it will lead to the power of samadhi, concentration. And as it becomes fulfilled, you are bound to gain this panya bala, the power of wisdom. So this is discriminating knowledge until at last you are able to reach the final extinction of the psychophysical phenomena. When you have these energies coming in, then your mind will become developed from an undeveloped state, so that there will be no agitation or emotional feeling, or shaken or moved or afflicted with these sensual pleasures, good or bad, when you experience them. Neither will you be agitated by agreeable object, nor with disagreeable object, unpleasant object, undesirable objects. You can overcome them. Previously, you are the loser, you lost to all these things, because your mind is not so developed. Now you have developed your mind, so that you become the victor, the winner. Previously, you give way to these objects. You allow these things to run yourself. Now you don't give in. You don't allow them. So that, especially when you are able to cultivate inside, cutting through to insight knowledge, along the path, progressing along the path, then with the knowledge, your mind will mature. From an immature stage, you reach maturity. So at that stage, you yourself will come to accept the truth, will come to know the truth, accept it, and make a resolution, make a confirmation. Previously, you are believing it through hearsay, or from the Dhamma talk, or from the books and so on. Now, you are putting it to your test, the touchstone of your personal experience. You come to believe it with your own personal experience, your empirical knowledge. And with that, you come to strengthen your power of saddha, faith and confidence. And as much as you have faith and saddha, faith and confidence, you have more and more zeal to undertake the practice, chanda, and there will be more and more energy, more and more sati. The power of sati, samadhi, panya will also arise. That's why it is said that by cultivating knowledge, your mind matures. And with previously you have this developing of your mind, your mind becomes developed. So that previously your mind was very weak, so that you are very reactive, responsive to anything, any attack or any object that you face. Now, with the cultivation of knowledge, you are able to withstand. The power of repelling power has arisen in you. So, and also you'll be able to take things with balance. You have balanced attitude. You can balance your mind. You can balance your things, so that there will be neither elation or dejection, neither likes or dislikes about good or bad objects. You become balanced, equanimity, reach the equanimity. Such is the attainment of the happiness of insight. You will come to experience it with your own personal knowledge. Such is nekama sukha. They come to possess nekama sukha, the pleasure of or happiness of renunciation. And as much as your mind becomes energized and your mind matures, you are able to withstand all these worldly conditions, and you will be able to control yourself. First, control your mind, practical restraint of your mind. If you can control your mind, you will be able to control your body and speech, so that there will be no mistakes made, and you will be able to live your life without mistakes, without any wrongdoing. And even if there are some small mistakes unconsciously, unawares, then you will be able to overcome such mistakes. You will correct these mistakes so that they become correct, and there will be no transgression, no transgressive defilements, no obsessive defilements. And you will not be, it will be good for the society. You will not be harming the society. Instead, you will be working for the welfare of the society. You will be, by safeguarding yourself, you are safeguarding others. You become the Dhamma victor, Dhamma winner, or you have come to possess Dhamma victory. Such is the benefit of the practice.